reached into his SUV for what she thought was a gun. The prosecution says she overreacted. Of the 12 jurors were seen crying as the not guilty verdict was read. The shooting happened back in September when Officer Betty Shelby, responding to a domestic violence call, came upon 40-year-old Terrence Crutcher's SUV stopped in the street and blocking traffic. Shelby says she shot Crutcher when he refused to obey commands to get on the ground, and she says reached into his SUV for what she thought was a gun. The prosecution says she overreacted, but the jurors disagreed. Crutcher did not have a gun in his SUV, however, but the drug PCP was found in his system. His family says he was murdered.
The facts were there. All the elements of manslaughter was there. Terrence's hands were up.
The Crutcher family says Shelby's fellow officers helped cover up her mistake, and Officer Shelby's attorney released a statement saying that his client was elated with the verdict. Bill?
What about problems developing from the protests? What did you see and find out?
Yeah, but police said there weren't really any problems. There were maybe 100 people who gathered outside the courthouse, some chanting, "No justice, no peace, no racist police." The police department was prepared for demonstrations. Eventually, everyone went home. The jurors did have to leave with police escorts. And, Bill, interesting, prior to the verdict, the jurors sent a note to the judge asking if they could also issue a statement along with the verdict. The judge had to explain that's not the way the court system works, so they were not able to release a statement. Maybe we'll hear from them later.
Okay, we'll check in then. Thanks, Alicia. They're in Oklahoma. Thanks.
Breaking, cop who killed unarmed father with hands up, on video, gets job back. Tulsa. Tulsa police officer Betty Shelby will not spend a day in prison for killing 40-year-old Terrence Crutcher. In fact, according to officials on Friday, Shelby will be allowed to return to her job on the police force. Tulsa Police Chief Chuck Jordan said in an email Friday Shelby will once again be a police officer with his department but would not be allowed to patrol Tulsa streets. Shelby's trial concluded this week when she was found not guilty of manslaughter Wednesday, by a jury of her peers. The jurors also wanted to go on record as saying she is not without blame. Shannon McMurray, Shelby's lawyer, didn't appear convinced her client would return to the force, even expressing doubt it would be a good idea. She's going to self-guess herself and get herself killed or somebody else, McMurray said, implying she may still be a danger to society. She's been on unpaid administrative leave since September when she was charged with manslaughter. Crutcher's family isn't waiting around for their son and father's killer to make up her mind whether or not to return to the police department. According to the Associated Press, AP, they're petitioning the city to prevent such a reinstatement of her employment. Image, http://pixel.watch/QT7. Crutcher's death was captured on video from a police helicopter which was flying overhead. Shelby's husband, Dave Shelby, was in the chopper and watched as his wife made the decision to shoot Crutcher, who died from his injuries. Shelby even took her case to the court of public opinion, granting an interview with 60 Minutes where she discussed the shooting in detail. Read more. In the land of the free, a cop can kill 2 girls, face no charges, then be elected to office. In her interview with 60 Minutes she said Crutcher wasn't obeying her commands and was acting zombie-like. She said she began to fear when he ignored her orders. "I'm thinking he's calculating how he can get to his vehicle to get whatever weapon it is that he's going to get because he didn't find it in his pocket," she said. She described the moment she fired. "It's like slow motion of me bringing my gun up, my finger coming in and then letting off. And he stopped and then he just slowly fell to the ground." She then blamed her shooting Crutcher on Crutcher. In court, the AP described her defense team's strategy. Shelby said she fired her weapon out of fear because Crutcher ignored her commands to lie down and appeared to reach inside his SUV for what she thought was a gun. But prosecutors said she overreacted, arguing that Crutcher had his hands in the air and wasn't combative, part of which was confirmed by police video that showed Crutcher walking away from Shelby with his hands above his head. The father's killing drew outrage from the community and the nation as a whole. As the Free Thought Project has reported, there is an apparent epidemic of police-involved shootings which has led, by some estimates, to the deaths of over 1,000 people per year. The number may, in fact, be higher, as no government entity currently tracks deaths by cop. Tulsa's Mayor G.T. Bynum addressed reporters following the not guilty verdict. "We have a long way to go, as a city, when one part of our city is synonymous with an entire race. We have a long way to go, as a city, when people keep expecting lawlessness from African Americans in response to an incident or a verdict." Read more. Wife calls 911 for medical help, cops come instead, beat unarmed husband to death. Addressing the racial disparity he observes in his city, Bynum said, "I would remind Tulsans that our history shows us African Americans in Tulsa have not been the instigators of lawlessness and riots. They have been the victims of them. So I would ask that we not keep assuming the worst from a part of our community that has been exposed to the worst in the city's history." Bynum says his time spent with the Crutcher family shows him they are really good people. Speaking of the loss of their loved one, he said, "His parents have had to bury a son. His kids will have to grow up without a dad who loves them. His sister, all of her best memories of her brother will be memories. There will be no more new ones." On Friday, an unusual action was taken on behalf of the jury. The 12 members, 3 of whom were black, issued a post-trial statement. According to the AP, they presented a post-trial court filing on Friday indicating that Shelby could have used a less lethal method to subdue Crutcher and could have saved his life. The foreman of the jury also says in a 3-page memo that jurors weren't comfortable with the idea that Shelby was blameless in Crutcher's death. McMurray acknowledged her client could have chosen a less than lethal method of subduing Crutcher, but added her client had to make a split-second decision. "Just like that, cops can kill unarmed, nonviolent, and arguably innocent fathers on video, and not only be acquitted but still be cops."
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Charlotte County Cop Watch with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave let's say actually yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, at least I can do it, 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt-free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it and each of you gave $1, and that was every month. Oh my God! Yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, you know, if I got, you know, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. You know, 47,000 of you so far right now. You know, $1 a day. I mean, $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.